Hi, some thoughts for today, the 17th Sunday in Trinity. A poor but honest jeweller was arrested for a crime he never committed. He was placed in a well-protected prison in the centre of the city. After he'd been there for some months, his wife came to the main gate. She explained that as he was a devout and prayerful man, would he be allowed his prayer mat? The guards agreed. So 5 times daily he would unroll his rug and pray. The jeweller then asked, "If you give me some simple tools and a few bits of metal, I could use my skill to make some jewellery for you to sell in the bazaar and make some extra money for yourselves." The guard agreed. The jeweller made the jewellery for the guards until one morning when they arrived, they found his cell empty. No one had any idea how he had escaped. Sometime later, the real criminal was caught for the crime for which the jeweller had been falsely accused. Long after that, one of the guards saw the jeweller and asked him how he had managed to escape. The jeweller's wife had gone to the main architect who had designed the prison. From him, she had obtained all the blueprints of the cell doors and the locks. She then wove the designs into the prayer rug. Each day he would pray. His head would touch the rug. Slowly he began to see that there was a design within another design, and that it was the design of the lock on his cell door. From the bits of leftover metal and his simple tools, he fashioned a key and escaped. Aren't stories great? Especially with a happy ending. However, if you were a chief priest or an elder today, you would not be happy at your story time with Jesus. Jesus was very clever, especially with those who opposed him. At all costs, he tried to avoid direct confrontation, but rather would invite them to listen to a story. Then he would leave the parable with them in the hope that the message would seep through their often clouded minds to their hearts and then lead to a change of heart or a change of direction. Jesus tells them there is a landowner, a beautiful vineyard protected by a fence, a watchtower, and it also has a wine press. The vineyard is Israel. The landowner is God, who has provided for the safety and security of the vineyard. The wicked are the leaders of the people, and the servants are the prophets sent by God, who are so often rejected and killed. Jesus does not mince his words, and the message of the story that the kingdom will be given to others was unspeakable. It was a savage and brutal story, which must have left the priests and elders very unhappy. As far as they were concerned, they were untouchable. They were the holders, the keepers of the law. They directed the lives of people. They could not imagine that this responsibility could be taken away from them. This story has hit home and hit hard, very hard indeed. And the guys are more than a little upset. Instead of vintage grapes, they have produced sour grapes, laced with corruption, superficiality, and no love and compassion. The vineyard is no longer theirs, and this hurts. Oh boy, it hurts. This is another clear example of how it was Jesus' parables that sent him to the cross. His stories were dangerous, and it made the cross with its cruel nails inevitable. Jesus instead would have liked them to be more like our jeweller and his wife. In the story, here was a man who prayed, and once he understood the design, he was free. The chief priests and elders never gave themselves a chance to discover God's design, and still remained imprisoned. Whereas slowly, those who kept listening to Jesus began to open their hearts to Jesus and come to see what God was doing in Jesus and begin to find a new and wonderful freedom. With the stories of Jesus, the authorities heard and hated. The people heard and hoped. Sometimes I do wonder whether the church today has lost or is losing the plot, and we are in grave danger of becoming the present-day priests and elders of the parable. To know what God wants for us, like the jeweler, we have to study the plan, pray constantly, and work for the freedom that our souls yearn for. The parable today should make us feel a little uncomfortable. It should also make us think and pray that we are not creating a barren wilderness out of a glorious vineyard. So keep well, keep safe, and God bless.